And the circumstances are primarily determined by Putin's war of aggression against Europe. It is a war against Europe and not just a war against the territorial integrity of Ukraine.
Seven Russians decided to launch an offensive across an open field in broad daylight. What could possibly go wrong?
7 invaders decided to advance in the middle of the day across open terrain. What could possibly go wrong? Artillery takes them out as they approach the village. A few still make it to the houses but come under heavy fire. Our drones adjusted the aim. Artillery fired. After the strike, we record the results. These were eliminated. The rest are finished off by our FPV drones. Host 1 was blown up. This one tried to hide, but he was also caught. And this one did not try, just sat until they caught FPV. At night, they hit the underground bunker with a thermobaric, and during the day continued the destruction next to it. And here the FPV pilot demonstrated accuracy. I fly in precisely and destroy the KDAP flag.
Russian BM-21 Grad and Strela short-range air defense system turned to scrap. Ukraine's intelligence released footage of Russian equipment and troops being destroyed on the Zaporizhzhia front. The strikes were carried out by FPV drone specialists from the Kabul 9 unit. The BM-21 Grad is a Soviet-era multiple rocket launcher system capable of firing a barrage of 122mm rockets, making it a powerful tool for saturating enemy positions with indirect fire. Mounted on a truck chassis, it can launch up to 40 rockets in under 20 seconds, covering a wide area with devastating explosive force. The Strela short-range air defense system, including variants like the Strela 10, is a mobile, heat-seeking missile platform designed to intercept low-flying aircraft and drones. It provides frontline units with a quick-response air defense solution against aerial threats, using infrared-guided missiles to engage enemy targets effectively. Elon Musk's Starlink is now just as crucial for Russian forces fighting in Ukraine as it is for the Ukrainian defenders. A mass deactivation of many Russian Starlink terminals last month has prompted an unusually frank assessment of much the Russians now depend on it. Russia has been able to equip many of its troops with Starlink terminals bought and activated in third countries. They cannot be deactivated through geo-blocking, as the front lines are so close together that it would also deactivate the Ukrainian Starlinks. However, Starlink has deactivated batches of Starlinks which it has identified as being illegally imported into Russia. This led to a mass deactivation of many Russian Starlink terminals along the front lines in early February 2025. Reflecting on the deactivation, the Man in Z Sneakers Telegram channel asks, "What will happen if Russian Starlinks are blocked? We will roll back to 2023. And this means that the troop control system and the speed of enemy destruction will suffer significantly. Control posts at different levels will be depleted in the number of TV screens due to their uselessness. The command will have to be closer to the front. Without the operational transmission of images from drone cameras, there is no operational data for destruction and no instant adjustment of artillery fire. The demands on the infantry's ability to enter points without drone control and the ability to adjust fire by radio, being close to the pilots or at observation posts, will increase. Mavic, reconnaissance drone pilots will have to be close to FPV pilots again to promptly receive data on targets and objectively control the destruction. Telegram, or any other messenger, as an operational and covert means of communication, will become useless. Consequently, the speed of transmitting target coordinates and interaction will decrease. There will be a high risk of wiretapping and exposure of communication points. With the decrease in control, the amount of false information will increase, to put it mildly. All this, unfortunately, will lead to increased losses, including among senior and higher officers. After the call with Putin, Trump repeatedly pats himself on the back again. It is all about me, 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 me. My phone conversation today with President Putin of Russia was a very good and productive one. We agreed to an immediate ceasefire on all energy and infrastructure, with an understanding that we will be working quickly to have a complete ceasefire and ultimately an end to this very horrible war between Russia and Ukraine. This war would have never started if I were president. Many elements of a contract for peace were discussed, including the fact that thousands of soldiers are being killed, and both President Putin and President Zelensky would like to see it end. That process is now in full force and effect, and we will, hopefully, for the sake of humanity, get the job done. The EU is moving closer to finalizing a €40 billion military aid package for Ukraine, with key discussions set to take place this week. While most EU nations back the plan, France and Italy have requested more time, and Hungary, and likely Slovakia, remains opposed. This is a war against Europe, not just against Ukraine's territorial integrity. And even if you, the Left Party, and you, AfD, see it differently, it is also a war against our country, fought every day, said CDU-CSU leader and likely next German Chancellor Friedrich Merz.
And for such indebtedness, justification can only be found under very specific circumstances and conditions. And the circumstances are primarily determined by Putin's war of aggression against Europe. It is a war against Europe and not just a war against the territorial integrity of Ukraine. It is, even if you see it differently here and there, it is also a war against our country that takes place daily. With attacks on our data networks, with the destruction of supply lines, with arson attacks, with contract killings in the middle of our country, with spying on barracks, with disinformation campaigns. They are now a part of it in Germany as well. With systematic misinformation and deception of our society. And ladies and gentlemen, with the attempt to divide and marginalize the European Union. And against these attacks on our open society, against these attacks on our freedom, which also constantly come from your interjections, against these attacks, we will defend ourselves with everything at our disposal in the coming years and decades, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.